Welcome back to the show. Another great opportunity for you to raise funds for a great cause, great organization here in our city. They have a hike coming up, here to tell us more about it and about hospice care in particular and why it's so important to continue to raise funds, continue to raise awareness. I'm joined by Hilary Evans, the Director of Fund Development and Communications at Hospice Care Ottawa. Welcome back. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's talk first about Hospice Care Ottawa and what it is and the people that you serve.
Yeah. So we are a nonprofit charitable organization that serves people right from diagnosis with a life-limiting illness all the way through until end-of-life palliative care. So we have programs right while people are still living in the community. We have programs for them to help them stay in their home and give their caregivers respite. So we run day hospice programs. We have in-home volunteer support visiting program. And again, both of those help give the person that's their main caregiver time to go out, look after some of their own things, get to their own medical appointments. Yeah. And then we, of course, also have the residence care, which is often what people think of about hospice. It's where you go. We have 2 beautiful residences providing 24-hour care that are home-like environments. We have the Hine House at Ruddy Shankman Hospice in Canada, and we have the Maycourt Hospice in Old Ottawa South. And then out in Orleans, we have the Maison de l'Est, where we operate some of those day programs for the Francophone community.
What a difference it must make, you know. It's such a difficult time in people's lives, and, you know, not just for the patient, as you said, you know, the caregivers. Tell me about the importance of making sure that, you know, we continue to make sure that we have these services and programs available.
Well, so we wish we could serve everybody because it truly is a unique experience. And the minute that we are able to welcome families into our residence program, it really is like lifting a weight off the family's shoulders. They don't have to worry about being the primary caregiver anymore. They can focus on being the wife, the daughter, the son, the niece, the nephew in those last few weeks or days. So that's super important as well. We, with our community programs, as I said, we're giving people breaks and rests to still be able to go about their own life and look after themselves while they know they have a well-trained volunteer in their home. Anybody that's front-facing volunteer-wise for our organization, dealing with people we're serving, they have over 30 hours of training. Wow. And are very qualified to be providing support. And for the in-home visiting volunteers, for example, they are case managed by a registered nurse as well.
I imagine you must be always looking for volunteers, Hilary?
Oh, we have tons of amazing volunteers, but yes, we always are welcoming more, and that training program I mentioned is offered 2 or 3 times a year and very intensive because, of course, they are dealing with people and families at the most sensitive times in people's lives.
Hilary, where does the majority of your funding come from?
Good question. We are actually, we're only 60% funded by the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
So we have to fundraise over $2.2 million every year just to deliver our programs. So not even all of our nursing and PSW costs aren't 100% covered. So our fundraising is very important. And so Hike for Hospice this Saturday is one of our key fundraising events.
So what does that look like? Walk us through the day.
Yeah, well, so there's still lots of time for people to register, and it's our first time back in person since before the pandemic. So we are really excited to welcome returning families. Once people experience hospice, they are very loyal. They continue to want to give back to help other families that come after them. But we know we'll be welcoming a lot of new families and teams this year who have lost a loved one over the pandemic. So we'll gather, and obviously lots of, it's sad. People will be remembering their loved one.
Of course.
But it's nice to join in community and meet people. We hike 5 kilometers throughout the campus of Carleton University, along the river there a bit.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah, and then we come back for announcements and fundraising, top fundraising awards and all kinds of fun afterwards.
Yeah, and you mentioned it is sad, of course, because you are remembering, but I guess also an opportunity to celebrate lives lost, right?
Yeah, well, and lots of people think would be a sad place to be, but there's actually a lot of magic that goes on at hospice. And, from the day programs, we hear music throughout the hallways, and even the families that are there saying goodbye, they're just so appreciative for the care they've had. It's quality care that you can't find many other places. It's very special. So we're excited that people want to come and see each other and meet new friends, and of course remember those that we've lost, and again focus on paying it forward for families who will need us in the next year or two.
Hilary, you touched on the pandemic. I can't imagine how difficult in that hospice space things must have been for not only those, in those last moments, but not being able to have family and, the effect even on the volunteers and PSWs.
Yeah, we've been through a lot, and I started just a year ago, but at peak times of the pandemic, we did have to have window visits only. We've had to cancel some of our community day hospice programs and really limit the number of volunteers in our space.
Right.
But we have volunteers in every part of the organization doing reception, bedside care, as we said, listening to people who, are maybe alone in their room and don't have a visitor right then.
Right.
And one thing that people don't know about hospice is everybody that arrives for residence care comes in through the front door and they leave through the front door. So after every time somebody dies, we ceremoniously walk that person out, and it's unlike anything you'd ever experience in most jobs, and it helps all of us remind us why we're there, and the support for the family goes on beyond with our bereavement supports.
It just gets me emotional just the way you describe that.
Yeah. It's very powerful.
Hilary, really appreciate the time again. Thank you so much for joining us again. Hike for Hospice Care Ottawa, Carleton University's Fieldhouse, Saturday, June 3rd. We'll remind you at the end of the show. We'll be right back.